Welcome to our exploration of the Gambian's rich and often overlooked history. In this documentary, we will uncover lesser-known facts and figures that have shaped the nation, featuring insight from our esteemed historian. Join us as we delve into stories of Edward Francis Small, Modu Musanjai, Henry Madi, the 1957 ferry disaster, and the legacy of King Kemintan Kamara.
We have historical facts, historical events that are very paramount. They shape the economic, social, and political development of the country. Now, imagine these figures who are lesser known, perhaps not even known by many Gambians. Those are such people who contributed immensely beyond the measure of the celebrated people who are deemed to be the icons, the freedom fighters, the independent achievers of this country. Imagine the like Edward Francis Small. Francis is lesser known because his role he played in the independence of the Gambia, among other things, is absolutely not even the tip said to a Gambian citizen. We have Mamadou Musa Njai. Mamadou Musa is also a great individual whose entrepreneurial skills, economic, social, and political contribution to the Gambia is not known to people. Okay, we have Henry Madi. Henry Madi is another great man who equally is lesser known to Gambian history. You have the ferry disaster in 1957 in the Gambia is lesser known. But it's here. We have a great king who is not known, the king of Niani, Kemintan.
Edward Francis Small is one of those whose legacy was overlooked. Born in 1892, Small became a member of the Legislative Council and was known for his passionate speeches that ignite a sense of nationalism among his peers. His effort laid a groundwork for future leaders.
Francis Small was not a mere citizen of the Gambia. He was beyond that. Francis was a journalist. Francis was a trade unionist. Francis was a Pan-Africanist. Francis was a nationalist. He was described as a fierce nationalist patriot. But people don't know this. Now, Francis was the first person from the Gambia who attended the Nancy Boa Congress in Ghana and came and established its branch in the Gambia. And this Congress of British West Africa, that's National Congress of British West Africa, was the pioneer Congress that ensured independence for West African English-speaking country. Francis further became the first to be elected into the Legislative Council. And until he died, every election is returned to the parliamentary. Also, he was appointed to the Executive Council. So, it continues. He became a very prominent figure in the Taxpayers Association of Banjul. Francis went into establishing the Batos Trade Union in the 1920s.
Edward Francis Small was a pivotal figure in the Gambians' fight for independence. He was more than just a politician. He was a visionary who advocated for the rights of Gambians in the face of colonial rule.
He didn't stop there. He further staged the first successful protest across British Empire in the world. Let me repeat myself. The first successful protest across the whole of British Empire in the world. Francis staged that in 1927. And that protest does not only ensure respect for laborers or Gambian workers, but also increase wages, better working conditions, better leave, and so on and so forth. Francis doesn't stop there because Francis was a social injustice crusader. He pioneered the modern press of the Gambia. established the Outlook and the Senegambia Reporter. So are the first newspapers in the Gambia. Despite the repressive rule of the British, he stood tooth and nail, hook, line and sinker, to ensure that what the government does, the British or the colonial government does, that is not in the general interest of the Gambia, is revealed to the whole world. He faced topsy-turvies. He had a tumultuous life, confusing life, I can say. He went into exile. Even the Senegambia Reporter came to being when he was in exile in Senegal. But these are lesser known things.
His work, although less recognized today, was crucial in mobilizing the Gambian population towards independence.
He was called the watchdog of the Gambia, not because he was only a journalist, a teacher, that's educationalist, a trade unionist. This wasn't the case. But he pioneered Gambia's independence. He was the mentor of great politicians. He laid the foundation for the establishment of political parties. And the establishment of these political parties led to the eventual independence of the Gambia. Sen Clara Diouf was under his mentorship. Brahma Gabajahumpa was under his mentorship. In fact, if you read Baba Sila's book, When the Monkey Talks, depicting Banjul or the Gambia right to be Katamina land, he said they betrayed Francis. Francis was betrayed. That is why he is not known. The people he grew up, the people he put in the limelight are the people who in turn betrayed him. This is why we don't know him. But everybody knows P.S. Njai, everybody knows Kabajahum, everybody knows Sekmar Fai, but Francis is not known. Francis does not only stop there. Francis moved to the protectorate. He was in Balangar. Francis took the risk. I would say a risk because it was dangerous to go against the colonial government at the time. He took the risk to bring together Gambian farmers because he realized the exploitation was too much on them. They produced groundnut, they produced sesame, among other crops that were exported, and they are high income earners for the colonial government. But they have no say in the price of their own produced commodities. They don't even understand the arithmetics, they don't understand the balance, they don't understand the measurement. Whatever they are told is what they go away with. The envy of that practice led to his face-to-face confrontation with Walker, the British representative at the time there. They fought. So Francis is someone definitely who should not be lost in the headlines of Gambian history.
Up next, we turn our attention to Modu Musa Njai, another essential figure in the Gambian history.
To get you back to another figure, Mamadou Musa Njai, perhaps it's the first time you are hearing this name. He is the father of Lady Chilel Njai, the wife of former President Sadauda, late President rather now, Sadauda Paidabanjawa. Njai was from Basse. He was a cattleman. He was herding his father's cattle at tender age. And when he was 18, he joined Ibrahim Salman, who was also a businessman, a Lebanese businessman in Basse. Quickly, he expanded that man's business. Then, a few years later, he established his own. And do you know, he became the first Gambian millionaire? And do you know he was one of the richest black people in Africa? Truly, the adage of from rap to riches is absolutely what became of Musa Njai. Musa have never gone to school. Musa expanded his business. He ventured into real estate. He ventured into re-export and import trade. He ventured into gem trading, that's diamonds and golds. Musa has never been to school, always remember that. And now, until today, present day Gambia, one of Gambia's biggest revenue earners is the re-export trade, the exportation of some of the goods that are already imported in the country. Historians can tell. It's still alive. thanks to Mamadou Musa Njie.
Njai played an instrumental role in the agricultural sector and was significant in advancing policies that benefit local farmers.
Mamadou Musa does not only stop there. He paid for the pilgrimages of a lot of Gambians. He built so many mosques, helped the government. February 1965, he made one of his biggest philanthropist gestures to the Gambia. He gave them 2,800 pounds. And he told Jawara, this is what I can do for the country. And imagine 2,800 pounds at the time. And it is recorded that he spent 4,800 pounds to take people on pilgrimages. But Njai is not known. It was only Bagley Rice on his book, Enter the Gambia Fame, captured him. More than that, non-Gambian writer. There is no Gambian historian who have mentioned Musa Njie. Musa doesn't only do his business in the Gambia. Musa went as far as Nigeria, where he collected timber, Guinea Conakry, Kola Nut, the Casamance region, gunpowder. That was not his limit. He went to East Africa, coffee in Kenya, tobacco, raw tobacco in Malawi. You don't stop there. Imagine, he went to the Far East. This was such a great businessman. He went to Hong Kong and Singapore, where he was dealing in electronics. And he also pioneered the importation of cement in the Gambia.
His contribution helped modernize farming techniques and improve food security in the Gambia. Njai's legacy endured in the agricultural practice that many still rely on today.
Why is this man missing on the spotlight of Gambian history when he shaped our economy, shaped our entrepreneurship, and then shaped our political system? He was a very big supporter to the government. P.S. Njai, President Njai, was his lawyer. And he supported the United Party of President Njai before he shifted to join Sadoda Kairaba Jawara and then subsequently gave him his daughter to marry. Do you imagine the British were so surprised that such a man they called unlettered doing this? What they did, they one time raided his house because they suspected that he has a money printing machine in his house. Always remember, this man has never been to school. So he was a proof to the claims or allegations that Africans are not yet ready to rule themselves politically and economically. I could recall on the findings that a New York Timer came to interview him one time. Then he was there in UK, London. He told him, with his broken English, I go buy things here, I go sell them there. I go buy things there, I go sell them here. I go buy more, sell more. That is my life. so this man, I think he should not have been on the dim side of Gambian history.
On a tragic note, the ferry disaster of 1957 remains a pivotal event in the Gambian history.
The ferry disaster in 1957 in the Gambia is lesser known, but it shaped the development of the Gambia.
This disaster claimed many lives and highlighted the inadequacies of transport system during that period.
There used to be a wooden ferry at the time that crosses people from Banjul to Bara. But that disaster, brought up a paradigm shift in the transportation system of the Gambia. That is the time we had these metal or iron ferries.
The aftermath sparked public outcry and led to significant reforms in the safety regulations and transportation infrastructure.
So imagine, it's also not known. What is even most known to Gambian people is the Batonjola incident, which is, it doesn't even occur in the Gambia, but a similar thing happens. About 60 people lost their lives.
It served as a wake-up call to the government about the importance of prioritizing public safety. Another person who is almost forgotten yet carved a huge landscape in the Gambian history, Henry Madi, is a name often forgotten in the canals of history. Although these stories are almost lost and forgotten, however, there are little information kept in our national archives about these stories.
Yes, this material could be found at the archive because the colonialists, even though sometimes he was selfish, but they believe in the black and white. That's the book and the pen. It was recorded. I told you, Gambians don't write about it. It was only written by Hazum Sise on his book Profile of Eminent Gambians. And then I told you, Barclay Rees, a British historian, also wrote about Njai on his book titled Enter the Gambia Fame. He recorded Njai. For Sumol, he has been written by Hazum as well, and of course by Nana Gray Johnson. These are the few authors who have written about Sumol. Other than that, all we see is something different, and perhaps an unclear told story about them.
Madi was a notable entrepreneur and a philanthropist who made significant contributions to education in the Gambia. However, why are these important historical figures and events not known?
But you see, for the case of Francis, we understand the people that he grew up are the people who came into power and then shadowed him. They casted their shadow on him, thus they make him dim, that he couldn't surface. And also, before the eventual spotlight of Gambian independence, he passed. So they make him a forgotten being, not knowing that he is an immortal being. So this is the sad story about it. Even in Basi, if you ask them, yeah, they don't know him. In fact, Sumol is a bit known, but that of Njai, the ferry incident, Henry Madi, PS, Jawumpa, you name them. Not many people know them.
His initiatives established schools that provide quality education for many Gambians, opening doors to opportunities that were previously unavailable. Now, what mechanism can we employ to have these histories on the headlines?
Earlier on, I did mention the archive is there, it's open for every Gambian. The National Museum is there, open for every Gambian. And of course, there's even an oral archive at the pipeline, also under the National Center for Arts and Culture, open for all Gambians. But I sometimes believe African historians, I should not even limit it to Gambians, they are more of historians of readers rather than writers and researchers. So if you are someone who reads anything that you have seen written, but you don't venture into writing and making in-depth research, you would be carried out by the opinions of other writers. But these are facts that are archived, and they are at the National Archive in Banjul. So people who want to write history should go to the archive, get historical facts from the archival records, from newspapers, from the oral archives, and of course from veteran historians. We can gather this information and put it on the historical limelight. But I understand the readership of the Gambia is very low. Not many people read. Okay, but the government have a role to play here. Now, if I have to take the time to venture into research for historical facts finding, I produce a substantial material, an empirical material. Indeed, it is what I could do. Now, the integration of such material into the curriculum and education system of the Gambia solely depends on the government through its educational ministries. So, the government, the ministry, historians should come together, get this thing done. They pass it down to the school level. That will make the generation to grow with that knowledge. Otherwise, it will disappear, it will extinct, it will get lost. Nobody will know. And then let me tell you, the pride of a nation depends heavily on its historical background.
Our final figure, King Kemintang Kamara, was a remarkable ruler of Nyani.
We have a great king who is not known, the king of Nyani, Kemintang.
His reign is often overlooked, yet he played a crucial role in the region's political landscape during the pre-colonial era.
Kemintang Kamara was one of the greatest kings in the Gambia. And you know what? He defeated the British in the Gambia. He went to war with them, he defeated them, despite their reinforcement. And of course, the traitors among the Gambian people who joined the British, Kemintang is not known.
Kamara is known for his diplomatic skills and efforts to unify various tribes under a common governance system. Understanding his leadership helped us to appreciate the complex history of tribal in the Gambia.
So these are figures or events that need the spotlight.
These lesser-known historical figures and events are a vital piece of the Gambian's heritage. They remind us of the struggles and triumphs that have shaped the nation. By acknowledging these stories, we can foster a deeper appreciation for our history and its impact on the future. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Gambian's history. Stay curious and continue to explore the stories that make our world richer. This is Youth Documentary. Please subscribe for more amazing contents.